Attorney Dwayne Hobson here. I'm a lawyer. I'm in practice law for 8 years. And today we're going to take a look at the actual Shannon Sharpe complaint. We're going to look at the facts that has what has been alleged against Mr. Sharpe. And we're also going to read what exactly is this lady suing for. And so I thought this would be interesting versus just making a video about the facts that I know and not analyze it. I want to read the actual lawsuit, which I think this the actual lawsuit. Uh, and this it looks legit. I found it online, and so this looks legit. So we're gonna take a look at this, read the facts, read what she's suing for, and then I'll do a little analysis at the end to let you guys know what I think about the lawsuit itself. All right, I'm gonna hop over to my computer, webcam, and I'm gonna be actually screen recording the lawsuit as I go through it. Let's get straight to it. Was that corny? I don't know. All right, everybody, let's get into this complaint. And I'm sorry for using the webcam, but I just figured this be the easiest way to analyze this complaint. And I'm gonna try to not make this seem like a conference call. Let's get to some of these facts. Okay, off the top, we see here that that the law firm that's suing Shannon Sharpe on behalf of this John Doe, which her name just came out. Her name was Gabriella or something like that. Uh, but here in this complaint, she a John Doe. So the Busby law firm has associated, partnered up with Elena and Elliman, LPP, and I'm probably butchered it, guys. And this is a big law firm. This is not a small law firm. Let's Google now. Yeah, this is not. I don't think this is a small law firm. I feel like I heard this law firm before. Let's go back. I feel like they're normally a federal defense firm. I wonder why they decided to hop on here. And so these are probably the guys that's actually barred in Nevada. Yeah, there you go, Michael Nash. And because of course Attorney Busby and look like one of his partners, Thomas, they are saying their pro hot vice is forthcoming, meaning hey, they're not licensed in that state, but they're gonna swear into their state for limited practice for this one particular case. And they're based out of Texas. All right, they're in Clark County, Nevada. Jane Doe. I haven't personally filed a lawsuit with Jane Doe. I don't want just some kind of repercussion that her identity has been released. I'm not sure. Of course, Shannon Sharpe, individual. Claiming, okay, we usually do the parties first. I don't know why they don't have parties up here, but they're going straight to the introduction. And every lawsuit's different. A lawsuit is just a plain statement of alleged facts and causes of action against the person you're trying to sue. And so, but lawsuits could be simple and straightforward, like a defamation lawsuit. Not lawsuit. When I say lawsuit, I mean complaint. We're reading the complaint. And one big thing I want people to realize is that complaints are alleged facts. Okay, you gather facts, actual facts through discovery. In a complaint, these are just facts somebody's alleging. One big thing the public does is that they see alleged facts of complaint and just assume they're 1000% true. Now, more likely than not, they could be true. It's a likelihood that are true, or these are facts that they believe are true. You got to prove these facts through discovery and in trial. But just remember, they're alleged facts, and most laws are set up as parties, jurisdiction, venue, introduction, and then you have your causes of action. Then you got the damages and what you ask for. And so this one has, I'm sure this is gonna be a long introduction, and then it's probably gonna be a long fact session. Let's get to it. But look, they're trying to be. They knew a lot of people's gonna see this lawsuit, so they're like starting off with like very persuasive. And when you know a legal writing, because you want the reader to believe your set of facts, it's persuasive writing. A woman can say, I'm not gonna read like this. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but you guys can read this. A woman can say yes to consensual sexual relations with a man 99 times, but when a woman say no even once, that means no. Defendant Shannon Sharpe, a man who is accustomed to getting what he wants, completely fails to understand this basic concept. After many months of manipulating and controlling plaintiff, a woman more than 30 years younger than he is, and repeatedly threatened to brutally choke and violently slap her, Sharp refused to accept the answer no and raped the plaintiff despite her sobbing and repeatedly screams of no. Okay. So the big question here is like, why don't people go to the police? Why they just seek some money? Because number one, they want some money more so than justice. I feel, or they feel that justice is money is justice is this in this case. But number two is what just like on TV when they say beyond a reasonable doubt. In the criminal case you have to prove something beyond a reasonable doubt. Civil case is just the burden of proof is clear and convincing. Okay. So it doesn't have to win a trial, it doesn't have to be beyond a reasonable doubt. The facts. It's a clear and convincing is a lower burden of proof than beyond a reasonable doubt. Defendant Shannon Sharpe is a 56-year-old NFL superstar. He claims to be one of the most successful sports media personalities in the country. Plano was a young woman in her early 20s. In 2023, Plano was working out at a gym in Los Angeles, California, when Sharp approached her for the first time. Previously, Doe had noticed Sharp watching her during her workouts. At this time, Doe was just 19 years old. At, at the time, she didn't know who he was, and only that he was on another. Excuse me. At the time, she didn't know who he was, but only that he was another older gentleman oogling her at the gym. That word slipped me up. Yeah, I'm sure she didn't know who he was. Well, she probably did. He is old. Doe could tell Sharp was much older than her. She found him physically intimidating. Eventually, he introduced himself at at his determined insistence. She gave him her number. So I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into like the backhand side stuff as to why she would do this, as to why he would do this. I'm just gonna try to keep it based on analyzing this lawsuit. And and one reason I can't say why you want to have a good introduction, most judges do read everything. Some judges don't. And so for the judges who don't, they take a quick look at the introduction before a hearing, you know, and it's the introduction is I would think if the introduction is written well, a judge is more likely to read most of it. And so that's probably why you want to have a great introduction. But I can tell you, most of the judges I practice in front of in Mississippi, most of them read everything. So even if you have a whack introduction, they're gonna read it because they want to see what's going on. They won't be prepared for this hearing. Now, if you got a small hearing and you got a bunch of people going, I can see how they just glance over the introduction. Then over the next couple of weeks, Sharp insistently pursued Plano. I'm sorry for reading slow, guys. I'm trying to speed it up. I should get AI read this, huh? I should. I want to. Can I get an AI reader to read this for us? No, I'm just keep next video. I'm gonna get an AI reader to read it. I know a lot of people talk about how I talk, and they'll probably rather hear that. I'm gonna read this. He consistently approached her at the gym and attempted to contact her frequently with phone calls and text messages asking to meet up, unwilling to take no for an answer. Eventually played her Plano gave in and agreed to meet with Sharp outside the gym. However, before doing so, Sharp demanded that Doe sign a non-disclosure agreement or NDA, something Plano found a bit concerning. I mean, he's a famous person. You hear about a lot of famous people asking folks to sign an NDA. What's concerning is a 56-year-old man talking to a woman 19, 20. But that's another conversation I'm trying not to get too deep into. Despite his repeated efforts to get her to sign, she refers time and again. Eventually, he dropped the issue and invited her to his house. Oh, she didn't sign. what found what followed was the beginning of a right consensual relationship that lasted 2 years. The relationship was very unequal. Sharp is more than 30 years older. Is considerably wealthier. Is physically much larger. Is financially stronger. Sharp is famous and has power. Plainham and Sharp saw each other on his terms and on his schedule as often 4 times a week. Over time, Plainham began to see Sharp's true nature. She found him to be dishonest about his whereabouts. He would lie about seeing other women while insisting that she and he were exclusive. He often manipulated her, at times being sweet and loving to get what he wanted, and at other times being angry and aggressive to achieve his goals. She discovered over time that Sharp was extremely emotional and possessed an uncontrollable temper. He displayed the characteristics of a true narcissist. He wielded his power, his influence, and his celebrity to control plaintiffs and get exactly what he wanted, whenever he wanted, all the time, all while jealously guarding what he considered for himself. Mm. By October 2024, Sharp behavior had grown progressively worse beyond anything plaintiff had experienced with him before. At this point, he was insistent upon recording their sexual activities, sometimes without her knowledge. Sharp was also sharing the videos with others without her permission or knowledge. I wonder what proof she has of that. Sharp would repeatedly tell Doe that he want her to do things that would make no other man want her. God damn, Shannon Sharpe. But this is all alleged. You gotta remember that. By this point, Sharp was no longer able to credibly maintain a relationship was exclusive. He at this point accidentally or purposely to advance his career went live on Instagram while having sex with another one. Sharp flew into fits of anger when plaintiff noted his infidelity to their relationship or called him out about his extraneous activities. What had once been manipulation, control, and intimidation now became something far more dangerous and sinister. Sharp eventually figured out how to get into Doe's apartment complex without her permission. Sharp made it clear that what Doe wanted was of no moment. Sharp made it clear that what Doe wanted was of no moment that Sharp would get what he wanted. I don't understand that line. I might be butchering it. When he wanted it. In October 2024, Sharp violently sexually assaulted and anally raped Plainham 2 different times in Las Vegas, Nevada, blatantly ignoring her request for him to stop. He did it again in January. Mm. Plaintiff left Nevada to temporarily escape. Defendant Shannon Sharpe now now seeks justice through the through this action and other means. Plaintiff seeks compensatory punitive damages in this matter in excess of 50 million. Now, compensatory, I'm saying, I'm screwing that word up and I say it all the time. I always get like this when I record. Those are just the standard damages. Punitive damage is when you try to punish somebody that this should never happen again. The parties, of course, Jane Doe and then Shannon Sharpe. She's not suing anybody else. I want just the actual address. Jurisdiction venue, both plaintiffs reside here. This is where jurisdiction is just where you can legally sue. Jurisdiction to have jurisdiction over somebody, they have to be there. They have to be the defendant has to be domiciled there for 6 months. Domicile means they're intended to live there for the last 6 months. Venue is what court you're gonna be in. Okay, factual allegations related to a claim. Okay, this just goes into the background of Shannon Sharpe. I'm not gonna get too deep and read all this. Everybody knows he's a former NFL superstar in sports media. They have pictures of him. Now, when I say this at first, before I prep for this video, I might start putting pictures in my complaint. I don't haven't put pictures in my complaint, but I might start. They put old pictures of him too. I guess they want to show he was in the NFL and want to show he's in the Hall of Fame. All right, upon retirement, he turns to broadcasting. Everybody know that. He be on ESPN now. Well, he took a break from ESPN because of this, and he also does his own podcast, and he does a nightly show with Ocho Cinco, another retired football player. And that's what it talks about. He joined ESPN, First Take, and his podcast, stuff like that. Talking about his legacy. All right, here's some more facts from the actual case we're talking about now. Sharpe's legacy extends beyond the field of media in one glaring area is not good. Sharpe has a documented history of abusing and mistreating women. Now that is what I didn't know. You know, as an example, he is currently defending a lawsuit for the Supreme Court of New York, facing claims from a woman of intentional infliction of emotional distress, amongst other things, among other allegations. Many of the factual allegations in the New York case are eerie, similar to his actions claimed here. I didn't know that before I read this. Well, I didn't know there was another lawsuit before I read this. I heard it was another one came out. According to the New York lawsuit, Sharpe forcibly subdued plaintiff for decades, forcing her to the knees and subjecting her to non-consensual oral sex despite her repeated protests. When she insisted, he persisted. Oh, playing words. He would not take no for an answer. According to the New York lawsuit, the plaintiff, they're in fear for her safety, just as plaintiff fear for her safety now. The New York lawsuit further alleges that Sharpe escalated non-consensual vaginal penetration, all while telling her that he would make it so no other man won't hurt. These words were apparently not a one-time thing. Plato too has heard Shannon Sharpe say that as his favorite line. Huh? In 2024, he live streamed himself on accident having sex with a woman. Okay, that's stuff from earlier, but we all know that when he had that Michelle moment, he tripped. Let's go to some more facts. Plaintiff discovered Sharpe had been secretly recording their sexual encounters without her consent. When she confronted him, his summarily dismissed her concerns, claiming the videos were for his own personal use. That too was a lie. Upon information and belief, that just means they assuming. That's a fancy word for saying assume. Sharpe, on multiple occasions, shared recordings with his friends, and so at one point he even forced Plaintiff to have sex with him while FaceTime one of his childhood friends named Bucky. Whenever Plaintiff would get up the courage to object Sharpe's outrageous conduct, which was not often, he would aggressively and angrily put her back in place. Sharpe isn't just a sports icon, he's something far worse. He's a flawed, narcissistic individual who spent years using his fame, power, influence to manipulate, control, subjugate, and violate women. With this suit, plaintiff intends to put an end to his egregious conduct. All right, beginning of consensual but deeply manipulative relationship. Okay, these are a lot of facts in this complaint. A lot of facts. But I just feel like these lawsuits that they know people are going to read in the public, they put a lot of facts in those complaints. True. Shaw first met plaintiff at Los Angeles Gym 2023. And this is some of the stuff from earlier. They're going to how they met, turn around, stand inches behind her. Sharp told her he knows her in gym why she not introduce herself. It's the first time they spoke. Plaintiff at the time had just turned 20 years old. It was caught on guard. Now, they mentioned her being 19, but now when he actually talked to her, he was 20. So I guess they mentioned 19 in the introduction to catch the reader's attention. But the fact is, like, okay, she was 20 when they first really started talking. She was face to face with the then 54-year-old man she had never met. Plano did not know who Shannon Sharpe was at the time. She did not know what to say nor how to feel about this. Feel about his advance. Now, this is I can believe she's a 20-year-old girl. I'm not sure most 20-year-old girls, unless she plays sports, know who Shannon Sharpe is. Now, if she plays sports, I'm sure she know who he is. Now, if she was 30 something, I would, even though she didn't play sport, I would definitely believe she knows who Shannon Sharpe is because the 30-year-old probably more likely to watch the interviews that Shannon Sharpe do on Club Shay Shay. I'm gonna try not to lean back as much to make sure y'all hear me on this laptop, Mike. During that first conversation, Sharp proposed a challenge to competition to see who could lean out faster. The prize and Plano won. He would buy her fake ticks. Plano was stunned. The implication that she would need to want such a wild and inappropriate hearing it from a stranger more than 30 years, her scene made it more disturbing. That's not funny. That's not funny. Let me stop. I just didn't expect that. Throughout the subsequent inquiries, Jim Sharp made sure the plaintiff understood who he was, a celebrity and TV personality. So he had just thrown out there, yeah, I'll be on TV. You on TV. I do podcast. I'm from the South, so I'm sure I sound like him. Mississippi, to be exact. I think Shannon Sharp from Alabama. Over the following weeks, Sharp himself made it so unavoidable. He was at gym where she was. He constantly called and texted her, demanding to come see his Beverly Glen mansion. Plan repeatedly declined and made up excuses, saying to be yada yada yada. Now, this is just normal stuff. Eventually, Plano gave in, but before she could meet him outside the gym, Char made another demand that she had to sign an NDA. He refused, explaining why would not let her see a copy of the proposed agreement. He simply insisted to sign. Plano refused after multiple attempts. When he realized she would not cooperate, he finally dropped the issue. Okay, this is what we knew about earlier. Okay. Revealed from the start the violent, aggressive, and controlling nature of Shannon Sharpe. First night playing with the Sharpe's house was experiencing like anything she had dealt with before, disturbing, unsettling, and given his subsequent conduct. Very illuminating. I'm just like, okay, no, I don't agree with Shannon Sharpe. As a Shannon Sharpe fan, I do not agree with him talking to a 20-year-old. I just think it's kind of creepy. Just being honest, it's creepy. But on the flip side, you had this bad experience at first. Why do you keep going? Everybody deserves. I don't want to downplay sexual assault. Everybody deserves their right in court, but that's just one thought. When Plano arrived at his house, Sharp opened the door to his Beverly Glen mansion without a word, no greeting, no acknowledgement, no small talk, not so much as looking at Plano. He simply turned away from her after opening the door, walked upstairs. Plano hesitated, but followed as she did not know what else to do or where else to go. When they reached the bedroom, Sharp pointed to the bed before disappearing into the bathroom, shutting the door behind him. He still had not said a word. Plaintiff sat on the bed, waiting, unsure what to expect or if she would leave. Roughly 5 minutes later, he finally emerged, but she, but still, he said nothing. Instead, he turned off the lights and laid down on the bed. Plaintiff, uncomfortable and unsure of what to do, lay down as well. For roughly 10 minutes, there was nothing but silence. Do y'all think it was really nothing but silence? Yeah, man, I don't know. Then, without warning, Sharp placed his hand on Plano's neck from behind, pressed his erect fingers against her body, and said his first words of the night. I knew from the first time I saw you that I was going to F-U-C-K you. Doe and Sharp then engaged in then engaged in oral sex. As they did so, Doe at some point realized Sharp was using his phone. He was apparently recording her. Platinum could see that he was trying to be discreet, but it was obvious what he was doing. She said nothing, scared to confront him for what he might do or say. When it ended, he rolled over and went to sleep. At some point during the night, Sharp woke up, grabbed the plaintiff by her vagina, and began having sex with her. The next morning, Sharp woke up roughly 4 a.m. to shoot a media segment for sports television. He woke plaintiff as well and told her she needed to leave, but informed her to be back at 9 p.m. exactly. The following night, plaintiff arrived at Sharp's house at 9:05, just 5 minutes past the time he demanded. The moment he opened the door, plaintiff experienced his rage for the first time. Sharp immediately launched to a verbal assault. He screamed at plaintiff, berated her for what it felt like hours. He accused her of disrespecting him, wasting his time, and warned that if she wanted to be with him, be with Shannon Sharpe, she would have to learn obedience. Plaintiff was terrified and feared for her physical safety. She enraged Sharp. Still enraged, Sharp turned off the lights, grabbed her neck, and just like the night before, began having sexual intercourse with her. The cycle of control, fear, submission became routine, yelling at her, controlling her, forcefully grabbing her by the neck. When he got upset, saying he was going to kill her, a certain dominance had came to norm. I should have brought some water over the next year and a half. Plaintiff saw Sharp at his house as often 4 times a week. Sharp continued to treat her like an object. He continued to control her not just physically but emotionally, psychologically. He demanded complete control over her time and body, expecting her to be at his house on schedule at his command, whatever he called. The verbal abuse never stopped. He would berate her, degrade plaintiff, just as he had from the beginning. One time specifically, he was yelling at her while there was a firearm visible in his room. Terrified for her safety, plaintiff tried to share the location with friends from her iPhone just in case, but Sharp saw her do this. The moment he realized what she was doing, he grabbed her by the neck. If you ever do that again, I will effing kill you. Whoa. Summer 2024. Control turns abusive. The relationship becomes fearful and non-consensual. All right. Sharp's aggression and rage continued to escalate to the point Plano's friend began to fear for her safety. For example, when Plano was with her friends, they could hear Sharp yelling at her over the phone and would ask if she would be safe. That's okay. I guess Shannon used to call her spazzing out if she didn't do what he wanted. In the summer of 2024, Plaintiff and Sharp each moved to Las Vegas for their own reasons. Sharp liked to say that Plaintiff followed him to Vegas, but that too is a lie. Once in Vegas, Sharp again insisted that Plaintiff sign an NDA. She refused again. He persisted, but after each resistance, he let it go. Continued to see her multiple times a week. His behavior did not change. He remained erratic, controlling, and verbally abusive, all while telling Plano he was committed to a sexually exclusive relationship. Then, bum bum bum, in September 2024, Sharp humiliated Plano. He live streamed himself having sex with another woman on Instagram for over 1.1 million followers. See, he later made gist of the incident on his podcast Club Shay Shay and not Nightcap. But for Plainum, it was anything but funny. He repeatedly assured they was in an exclusive relationship, at best unhealthy and abusive. This was a lie that not only hurt her emotionally, it made her fear for her sexual health and the risk of sexually transmitted diseases. This is where it starts to seem like, okay, this is where he finna start talking to her. This is where Steve finna stop talking to him. At that point, Plano began to pull away from Sharp. She stopped answering his phone calls, stopped telling him where she was when he would demand to know. Plano's feeble attempts at freedom and independence further upset Sharp. He began flooding her phone with calls demanding to know where she was. He relentlessly he called relentlessly multiple times per hour. The harassment became so unbearable, Plano frequently began leaving Nevada, determined to cut off communication, resist his efforts to control her, and attempt to reclaim some control of her life. It took courage for Plano to make this effort. She remained terrified, even though she was thousands of miles away. Simply, Sharp simply would not accept independence or freedom for Plano. In October 2024, just after Plano returned from Europe, Sharp's behavior became more angry, aggressive, and now violent. Mm. October 6, 2024, Sharp sexual assaults and rapes Plano and threats, I'm going to make it so no man will want you again. Man, kind of stuff is it? On October 6, 2024, Plano was working out in a Nevada gym. Following her usual routine, as she worked out, she saw Sharp aggressively approaching her. You could tell by his look and the way he moved quickly towards her, he was furious for having been ignored. As soon as he got close to her, he told her, "Sit the F down or I'm going to kill you." God dang. Plainly refused. I don't want to talk to you. You cheat on me. His response was dismissive and controlling as usual. You don't have a choice. Sharp demanded that they talk in privately. Sharp demanded that they talk in private. Again, Plano told him no. He made it clear she did not want to talk to him. Being alone with him, she did not want to talk to him, be alone with him, or want him coming to her home. But Sharp didn't care. He never took no for an answer. Sharp forced Plano under threat to get into his car and go to her house. Ooh. Once Sharp was inside her apartment, Plano tried to keep the conversation in the living room, but Sharp refused. He demanded they go to the bedroom. She said no. He didn't listen, nor did he care. Once inside the bedroom, Sharp grabbed her behind and forcefully positioned her to perform oral sex. He held her in place and then forced her to begin performing. He became even angrier and said, "You disrespected me so much, I want to punish this asshole. I want to make it so no man will want you again." Wow. Plaintiff at this point was crying and sobbing, tears streamed down her face, and Sharp repositioned her and took her from behind and inserted his penis into her anus. He forcefully, anally raped her. He said, "Turn around, look at me." Sharp grabbed her by the head and forcing her to look at him as she saw. He said at that point, look at this. Look at my arm. I got chills. That's how good it is." Wow. Shannon Sharpe forced himself on the plaintiff and raped her. Despite her sobbing and agony as it happened, he told her in a moment as she was crying, the experience so good it was giving him chills. Sharp behavior demonstrates that he believed plaintiff to be his personal property, possessed and owned by him. He also believed that the laws didn't apply to him, that he could take what he wanted, that no one could or would stop him. He was and is wrong. January 2025, Sharp sexually assaults and rapes plaintiff, ignoring her screams and refusing to wear a condom. Family will take a quick break. it's graphic stuff in this complaint. It's just I don't know, man. I take sexual assault very seriously, and I still just don't understand. Like you can technically sue people after they, go to jail. So why not report this man to go to jail, or as a criminal, call 911 as a criminal, and so to start a criminal process. They could still start it now. Just like some crimes are so heinous that you don't have to press charge on nobody. The police could read, but look at evidence, and and the DA could file a criminal complaint. File a warrant for his arrest. But I, I hate to say this, but I just don't understand why these women don't call 911 that truly happen. Like if a woman that I knew in my family came to me and said stuff like that, I'd be like, look, you need to call 911. You need to order protection. You gotta get away from this guy. But what he did was wrong. But instead of calling the police and pursuing a criminal matter, they go straight to file a lawsuit. Now, in my mind, unless I'm wrong, other lawyers correct me if I'm wrong, you could file a criminal matter, and once the criminal matter over, you still can file a lawsuit. You know, so I don't know, but I know wait on the criminal matter to conclude and slow down the lawsuit. Quick, thanks for watching this video, but don't go. I'm just taking a quick break. I just want to tell you guys, ask you guys, hey, you guys are in Mississippi and you need a lawyer, hit me up, man. Hobson Law Group, attorney Dwayne Hobson. I'm looking for new car accidents. I'm looking for new slip and fall cases. I'm looking for any other kind of personal injury cases. And I also look for bankruptcy cases. So if you need a bankruptcy attorney, you need car accident, slip and falls, hit me up. Thank y'all for watching. Thanks. Keep enjoying the video. Let's keep going through this video. Thanks. Bye. So let's keep going to this year, January 2025. On January 2025, Sharp told Plainham he wanted to see her. Sharp persisted and reminded Plainham that he had a combined Christmas and birthday gift to give her, as he previously promised her a gift. She ultimately allowed him to come over to her apartment. She regrets that decision. Once at the apartment, Sharp began undressing. Plano firmly stated multiple times that they will not have sex without protection. Now, this is kind of different for me because, like, okay, but they're still saying no. Hey, no protection, no sex. They're still no. The man demanded that he wear a condom. She knew that in the past he refused to ever use condoms and believed that her demand would stop him from having sex with her. But although he refused to use a condom, she still insisted on having sex. She tried to resist him. She screamed. She had already expressed concerns for her safety, knowing that he had been involved with other women, increasing the risk of a sexually transmitted disease. The more she begged, Sharp became more aggressive and made it clear he would not be wearing a condom. He was going to have his way with her. Sharp grabbed her, pulled her closer, positioned her to perform oral sex, which lasted roughly 2 minutes. And Sharp repositioned her and roughly forced himself inside her. Plaintiff never stopped demanding and stopped begging him to stop or put on a condom. Sharp ignored her. As soon as he penetrated her, plaintiff screamed and sobbed. Her cries for help did not nothing to Sharp. This assault lasted roughly 10 minutes, and the owner was Sharp ejaculated inside her. Plaintiff cried and begged repeatedly for him to stop. Plaintiff left Nevada after the assault. Plaintiff brings these causes of actions in this honorable court to recover damages outlined below. It is imperative Shannon Sharpe and those like him are held accountable for their actions to prevent them from engaging in further sexual assault and sodomy and harming future victims. Okay, and the facts. What do you guys think? Those are some very, very detailed facts. I feel like, honestly, the more detail you have, some facts, maybe the more likely and maybe some truth to it. Because, like, I remember reading the Jay-Z lawsuit. Some of the stuff in there was just like, this outrageous. Sound like some stuff poured out there. But this lawsuit, some of the stuff seemed like it could be legit, especially him recording. And so secretly, maybe that it's a situation with Michelle, he meant to record on his phone in some kind of way. He went to Instagram without thinking, you know. Maybe that's what he was trying to do. And so, okay, assault, sexual assault, battery, sexual battery. Okay, so let's look up some law here. So off the top of the head, assault and battery not just uh, criminal legal actions. They're also torts, intentional torts. So let's look up real quick. Assault, tort. Assault is an intentional tort where someone intentionally acts in a way that puts another person in reasonable apprehension of immediate harm or offensive contact. So assault can hurt just by as you can commit an intentional tort of assault by having reasonable fear that I'm gonna give you seriously bodily harm. That's assault. You don't technically don't have to touch people. Battery. That's when you actually hit them. Battery in context tort law refers to intentional, harmful, or offensive physical contact with another person without their consent. It's a tort, meaning civil wrong for which the injured party can seek damage in court. So you guys with that got just the legal terms of assault and battery. So sexual assault. Now in Mississippi, I haven't I don't remember learning about sexual battery and sexual assault as a tort in school. But I'm sure that that is a real thing because they want to, and lawyers not going to put that in no complaint. Most lawyers not going to put that complaint not a real thing. I would think even without adding the words sexual to it, sexual assault can fall under battery and assault. And just Googling it here, it look like, Utah has code sections, Florida got one. Let me see if Mississippi has one. I'm in Mississippi. See, it's just talking about the felony in Mississippi. I don't see where it talks about a tort. It's just talking about the felony in Mississippi. Okay, let's go back to the complaint. But I just want to read them torts, you guys. Torts is like similar to attentional tort is similar to negligence. Except negligence means you accidentally did something, or carelessly did something. Intentional means you intentionally did. Straightforward. Okay, so that's what they're suing for. That's the cause of action. I'm not gonna read this line for line because it's just taking the law. This is the law, and it's just applying it to the facts. Then a part of torts, you gotta have damages. So damages for plaintiff's profit possible. Plaintiff's proximate cause of the defendant's proximate cause of plaintiff's damages. Second claim, intentional infliction of emotional stress. You got two types of tort emotional stress. You got negligent infliction of emotional stress, and you got intentional infliction of emotional stress. Here they're saying it's intentional. I'm surprised they didn't do negligent as well. So that basically suing those two things they're suing for. They with all those facts, I'm surprised those are the only two causes of actions that they found. And again, they're just applying the law to the facts. And I'm not gonna go through all this. The manager trial, which I see, here's the big thing that has everybody going crazy, other than the alleged facts, is that they're demanding $50 million, 30 million in actual damages, 20 million in punitive damage to punish him. And attorney's fees, declaration of rights. So, and that's it. That's the complaint. And so, quick breakdown about these facts. I feel like here's the big thing. Here's some other facts I wanted to point that's been posted by Shannon and posted by Attorney Buzz. The biggest thing is that they had a mediation before all this came out. And that mediation, the offer, according to Attorney Buzz, the offer got up to $10 million and she did not accept. What that points out to me and everybody else, if you're gonna offer that much to settle the case before, which is normal. Before I sue a lot of people in my cases, I send out a demand letter. I know it's a claim, I send out a demand letter once I'm done investigating. When you try to start some type of negotiation. So they went all the way up to $10 million and she didn't settle. So I'm not gonna say that everything she's saying is true, but that tips me off like, hey, he didn't care about his career so much that he will pay whatever, not everything, but as much as he can, higher than he feel he should pay to get this on the wraps. Because he care about his reputation and his career. On the flip side, that could also mean that, hey, all of it might not be true, but about 60 to 70% of it is true. And so I'm just gonna try to sell this as best I can. And so I'm surprised he walked away for 10 million. 10 million sound like a crazy number, but his attorney said that, and Attorney Busby doesn't have a good reputation now because the lawsuits he's been filing. But he's been practicing law for a long time, and I don't see why you would have to lie about you know, a number in the settlement. Maybe that's the last offer they had to settle, but they're alleging that Shannon said that she turned it down. I wonder why she didn't take it. Maybe they feel they got a good opportunity to take it to a trial. No one, they probably feel like they got good opportunity to survive most of this mess, survive discovery, and then survive that motion for summary judgment. Once you make it past summary judgment, you know you're going to trial. And so they feel like they can make it past summary judgment, then they feel like I guess they either could get a better offer like before going to trial. Shannon Sharpe teammate offer 15 million to sell them or something like that, or they feel like they can get the whole thing or get the whole you know amount at trial by a jury. Soldier Boy just lost a jury trial for sexual assault for 4 million. And like I said, the burden of proof for civil cases is less than criminal. It doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be beyond a reasonable doubt. It just has to be clear and convincing. You know, let me let civil trial burden. Oh gosh. Oh, preponderance of evidence. Well, heck, see, I messed that up. I'm thinking it's burden of clear and convincing. Here we go. Clear and convincing. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking these claims need to be still clear and convincing, and not just preponderance of the evidence. Okay, I'm sticking with clear and convincing. So they're more likely than not could survive, and when they go to trial, but jury still have to award it. She would have to prove her damages. Can she prove 20 million, 30 million, $50 million damages to trial? I just don't know. I just don't know. You know. So this is a real interesting case to watch. I'm thinking this is way more. It's a lot more fat here than some of the other cases, sexual assault case I read in the past, like the Jay-Z one. This seemed like I just say this seemed like a strong case on her behalf because of pre-settlement negotiation, and also I think some of these facts seem pretty detailed, you know. But hey, just the disclosing the bias. I was a Shannon Sharpe fan, and when it comes to football, and I like to watching his podcast and him on ESPN. And when he used to be on Undisputed. But hey, man, if he did this, he brought this on himself. You can used to. you can't be a fan of somebody, but if they do something wrong, call them out they BS. He said this is a shakedown, which it might be a shakedown, because I ain't gonna lie, the phone call sound like she was saying him well. I ain't gonna lie to you, like she like, oh yeah, I'm about to get him, I'm about to say him, I'm about to. But on the flip side, if he did do this, hey, he brought it on himself. And no, I pray for all parties involved. I know I've kind of been smirking and smiling, kind of laughing at some of this stuff. But I wish the best for all parties involved. I pray for all parties involved. I'm gonna keep watching this case. I may do an update if I hear something else interesting. But I just want to go through here, look at the facts, look at the law. I think this thing probably gonna get settled. I don't think it's going to trial. I don't think it's going to deposition. I'm sure it's gonna get settled. Comment below if you think this is case is gonna go to trial. Um, is it things gonna make it to depositions, or just things gonna get settled within the next few months? Y'all let me know below. Thank you guys for watching. We made it here this long. Thank you guys, and I see y'all on the next video.